Back with me is Kurt Bardella. He's a former spokesperson for Republicans on the House Oversight Committee. Kurt, Comer got what he wanted with a special counsel, but he's still not satisfied. What will it take to satisfy Jim Comer?
You know, there's an old adage that you never argue with a drunk or a fool. I'm not sure which one Jim Comer actually is in this equation, but my God, it's just embarrassing. As someone who spent many years working at the Oversight Committee on the Republican side of the aisle, we used to believe internally that it's not a good idea to get out front of the evidence, to mismanage expectations and build things up that you actually don't have the goods on that you can't prove. And these guys, these clowns right now, seem to have adopted the exact opposite of what used to be sound investigative strategy and messaging strategy. And instead, they just make these wild conspiracy theory-laced pronouncements, and then they hope that their witnesses or their testimony or the documents will somehow back it up, when in actuality, by the time we actually hear from a witness, they tend to disprove what the claims of Comer and Republicans are making. I mean, we're even seeing members of his own committee go out there, say one thing that's completely different than what Comer is saying later on that day. The right hand has no idea what the far right hand is doing, and they all just look like a bunch of clowns, and they're going to end up blowing this whole thing and really imperiling their very, very small Republican majority, because, Ayman, I can tell you, the American people don't give a crap about any of this right now.
Yeah, what do you make? I mean, what do you make of Comer vowing to subpoena the entire Biden family to testify before the committee? I mean, we're now beyond the theater of the absurd.
Oh, you want to talk about something that just reeks of desperation? That's what it is. It's so funny. Republicans are always the very first to go out there and accuse Democrats of using the reins of power to get political retribution and to politicize everything and to do something for the 2024 election. Yet, why in the world do you think that James Comer wants to bring the president and his family before Congress for a kangaroo court tribunal? I can't imagine why they would want to do that so close to the 2024 elections. Let's just think about that for a second. Again, it's just absurd. It's embarrassing. And frankly, Kevin McCarthy, as Speaker of the House, needs to step in here and get his people under control, because I can tell you there are a lot of Republicans who are going to be running in very contested races in November of next year who want no part of this.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to be a political genius to figure out what Republicans are doing here. Comer says that he is interested in finding the facts, but as we played earlier, he's already saying that he'd vote to impeach Biden now before these facts even come out. How is this kind of talk going to play out among other Republicans? I mean, surely, not everyone in the party is going to go along with James Comer. Do you think this could potentially backfire if Republican candidates have to begin to distance themselves from impeachment talk? Excuse me?
No, it'll be the litmus test for 2024. And the problem with that for Republicans is that might score them impeaching Joe Biden, might score them some points with the Republican base. It kills them in a general election. There is zero appetite from the majority of the American people for an impeachment of Joe Biden, who has done nothing wrong. There's not a shred of evidence connecting him to any wrongdoing at all. Comer's out there saying he would vote to impeach Biden right now, and yet they admit they don't actually have any evidence linking Joe Biden to any of Hunter Biden's financial dealings. And you look at the context politically here. After just getting shellacked in Ohio, red state Ohio, on the issue of abortion and women's rights, the undercurrents of that, their response to that is to go into impeaching Joe Biden. It's not going to work.
Kurt Bardella, always good to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.